guys, and thanks for joining us on this adventure today. I'm headed out for a quick, just an overnighter at the lake. I've got a buddy of mine that's going to be joining me up at the lake. He's probably already there. He came in from the other side of the lake into where we're going. But we're going to go out for a quick overnighter. It is hot out today. Current temperature right now looks like 83 degrees. It is hot, muggy. There is some chance of rain. Based on what they're saying, looks like probably won't start raining until maybe tomorrow. There is a slight chance it may rain in the earlier hours of tomorrow, but more than likely it's probably not going to start until close to noon. So I think we're going to be out of there by then because my buddy's got to leave pretty early in the morning and head out. He's got somewhere he's got to be. But we did want to bring you along on this adventure. And we are headed up around the lake. But we do want to thank you for joining us on this adventure. And when we get on up closer to the lake, I'll bring you back. Okay, guys, as you can see, we are at the lake here. We finally made it. Daniel isn't here yet. I figured he would have already beat me here, but he didn't. So I've already got my gear on, getting ready to head out and take off on around the trail. I'll meet him over there. As you can see in the background there is the lake. It is looking good out here today. So again, as I said earlier, it is very hot, very muggy. Luckily, it's not too far of a hike over there where we typically
camp at. So anyway, I'm gonna take off and get on the trail, and I'll take you with me. Beautiful day. We are going to be heading to the right side of what you're looking at there. We'll be down on that right side. You can see the dam in the distance way down there, and then off to the right is a spillway, and just before that spillway is typically where we camp at, but maybe give you a little better shot here. But anyway, let's get on trail. Okay, we're about to get on the trailhead here. Still waiting on Daniel. He has not, he's not made it yet, which has got me a little worried. I thought he would have been ahead of me, but I guess not. But anyway, you can see parking area down that way, and we're getting ready to hit this trail right here behind me and wind our way around to the lake to a campsite over there. It's a pretty decent site, pretty level. We've camped there several times, so it is well broke in, and we've gotten used to it. So anyway, little inlet right here. Just heard some fish jumping over there. Too bad I don't have a fishing pole on me, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna get back on the trail right here. And head on around. This is a well-maintained trail, as you can tell. There is a little bit of blowdown on this trail. It is most always well maintained. Usually it's never anything major if and when there is blowdown. Just wanted to bring you back for a second, and still on trail here, headed into the campsite. Just coming close to the lake here. Wanted to stop and take a second and just give you a little bit of a view of some scenery here. You can see the lake in behind me there. If you look closely, you can probably see there's some folks over there on a boat doing a little bit of fishing. Typically, there's not a whole lot of people up here on this lake. Occasionally you do run into people. Most of the time you see them at the parking area. Give you a little bit of a view here. You can sort of see a little bit through the trees. You may be able to see those gentlemen over there on a boat doing some fishing. But this is a pretty little lake. It's not a very big lake. The trail cuts and goes up the hill right here. It is not a very big lake. I think it is about 18 acres. So pretty small. In fact, really small. But it is a fun place to come to. It's easily accessible. And typically is pretty quiet, pretty clean. You don't really have to worry about a whole lot of people up here. Again, you will occasionally see someone, but that's usually up around the parking area, not always back on the trail. And then even then, if you do, you're generally just passing them. Just want to bring you back for a second and just give you a little bit of a view of the lake around here. I think I hear my friend Daniel coming. But anyway, just want to give you a little bit of a view of the lake so that you can see a little bit of what it's looking like around the lake here. This is not again, not a big lake. You can even see the other side there, and it goes along out that way. And here comes Daniel. He's caught me because I've been taking too much time filming and doing all kinds of other stuff, so. Okay guys, we're here at the camping spot. Got a pretty good setup here. We've been here several times before. You can see behind me Daniel down there setting up. You can see a pretty good spot here. We camp here pretty regular. You can see back up here behind me is a fire pit area. You could actually put a tent over there. But it's a pretty good spot. We've camped here many times. My plan at the moment is I'm going to set up at this tree and this tree. I'm going to stretch a ridge line, get my tarp up, and then hang my hammock and get all set up. There is some bad weather in the forecast for tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to get any of it today that I know of. Maybe in the morning before we get out of here, but we're hoping not. Guys, what I got here is a quick deploy ridge line. Just keep everything on here use alien hooks on it. I've got a few Prusiks with some alien hooks on it, and the way this thing works, you slide this one to the other end, you slide these Prusiks out with these alien loops on it so that you can connect your tarp to them. I usually do 3 of them. I keep one in the middle to hang a light or other things on, but this one here, the way it works is it'll wrap, for instance, around the tree, and then you'll feed a loop through this and take it over and then pull it tight, and when there's tension on it, it's not going to go anywhere. And then on the other end, with this one, basically what you do on this one is when you get it to the other end and you take this end around the tree, before you do that, you're going to take this one and you're going to pull this loop up and twist it, take it over that little ear, and then when this one goes around the tree and comes back around, you can pull it in front of this big loop and it will bind itself tight against the tree. And when you do that, you just wrap it around it a couple times and it's not going anywhere. It's quick, simple, and easy, and that's the way I like it. Just going to bring you back and show you how I tied these loops on the tree, give you a close-up of them. They're pretty simple. Let me just turn this camera around and I'll show you. You can see this one here, how this sort of operates. It's connected here. Get my hand behind it where to come into focus maybe. Focus, there we go. You can see right here where my thumb is. You connect it through there's 3 loops, this one, the big one, and a small one right here. You connect it here where my index finger is, and then you go around the tree with this working end. You'll bring it through this large loop, and then you'll connect it over this and then pull the rest to the other tree. It self-binds, it won't go anywhere. You can see how tight that is. And then here is one that you will connect your tarp to. On this end, it's just a Prusik on there. Focus, there we go. You can see the Prusik loop, how it's connected to this line. And this is a smaller line, even though they're the same color. This one is smaller than this one. That gives you better friction. It bites and binds better. And then I take the little loop on my tarp, I'll run it through this big loop over the smaller one and then pull this tight, because when tension is on it, it won't slide, it won't go anywhere. And then over here is a bit of a different setup. This one, focus, there we go. This loop is not connected, tied to the rope in any way. The actual rope itself feeds through this loop and then back through this one. It'll come from the back side through here, focus, and then back through this. And then what you do before you take the other end around the tree and wrap it around this big piece here, is you make a twist in the rope and take it over this little lip right there where my pinky is, if that'll focus. There we go. And then when you take this working in around the tree, you just wrap it in front of this big loop right here, which is how I've got it, and then you just take it back and over the bigger loop and come underneath itself and wrap it a couple times, and it's going to hold. It's not going to go anywhere. It's self-binding even right now. But what I will do is I will take this working end, this loose end, and I will coil it up and put it in this loop here around it, or underneath right here at the tree, one of the two, and then that gets that out of your way. You don't have to worry about it. If need be, you can leave that hanging for a drip line, either way, but that's how that works. Okay guys, just wanted to show you here, you know, a lot of people make a big deal about stakes and that sort of stuff. I just buy these. I think they're Coughlin's brand at Walmart. $1 a piece. You break one, you lose one, you bend one, no big deal. Go buy a couple more, I usually keep a couple extra with me. I'm not necessarily into the ultralight stuff. The other thing that I've got is pre-made ridge lines, and I've used these attachments that you can get. I think Dutchware, any of those different ones sell them, and it's just a piece of shock cord with this little keeper hook on it that you can slide back and forth. And of course this one is just the regular piece for the adjustment on your tent with the lock. And what I do is I just connect that to these, stake it to the ground, adjust it as needed. Again, these cheap stakes, you lose them. You know, you leave one, you forget one, you break one, no big deal, just go buy another one. You don't have to have the really expensive stuff to get out and get in the woods. Okay guys, as you can see, just a really simple setup here with the tarp. Pulled it out at all three corners. I've got one tied to a tree over there. This one I've got on this stick to raise up the center to make sure I get plenty of airflow in there. And then this one's just propped on the stick. The back's dropped a little lower in case it does rain, but that's my typical normal setup. I will put my ground sheet down here in a minute as soon as I string up my hammock. Again, I've got the War Bonnet XLC with me today, which is my normal hammock, my normal setup. That's my go-to. It's comfortable, I like it. It's the one I typically use. As you can see down here, Daniel is the tent guy who likes a tent, preferably over a hammock most of the time. He does use a hammock, but most of the time he's a tent person. Me, I prefer the hammock. Daniel's got his chair and his table, his setup. What is that, a Trekology chair? Is that what you've got?
Yeah.
And table?
Yeah.
Yeah, got the ground sheet with it, all that. And then this is the, what was this one? The Pariah? Is that what this was?
Yep.
The tent. Yeah, it's a one person. You can see here, let's see, I think the name is over here. You can see,
person and a half.
you can see right there, Pariah Bryce, one person. You can see in there, plenty of room. You can see that sleeping pad. That is, what sleeping pad is that? That's the
Gear Doctor.
Gear Doctor.
Yeah.
That's that insulated one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not got my hammock strung up yet, but getting ready to. I'll bring you back when I start doing that. Okay guys, gonna show you this War Bonnet XLC hammock that I've got. It fits, comes in its own stuff sack. You can see that stuff's down pretty small if you want it to. I just leave it kind of loose, stuff it in the bottom of my bag. This is marked, which is another thing that I like. Black, red, and red for the head. That's sort of how I do it. The way I keep my stuff in here is I just open this up right in the end, and I put my two tree straps in here. I just keep them kept together with Ranger band around them, and I use the carabiners. It's just much easier than to feed the whole end back through the loop. It's much easier. Just put it around the tree, snap it, feed it through the end of my hammock here, and go with it. Just another thing that I do, guys, with these Ranger bands that I use to hold my straps together. When I get ready to put it around the tree, I just connect it through that loop and leave it hanging, and then go around the tree, and that's always there when I need it. The way I start out with this hammock, guys, is I just go ahead and connect over here, leave it in its stuff sack. I'll put my strap, make sure my strap is straight, and feed it through these cinch buckles on here. Get it started. Cinch it up to where, at least where I think it'll be close. And this is the head end. And I usually try to put my buckle close to the edge of the tarp as a starting point. And then I can adjust from there. I just open up the sack and walk it across to the other strap. And when you're on this end, you just basically do the same thing and adjust from there. Just get your buckle straight, feed your strap through, pull the slack, and see where you're at. And okay, as you can see, this is the foot end going down to the head end, and I can already tell by looking at it that the head end over here is going to have to come down more. My options are to loosen either the buckle, as you can see here. I can loosen this buckle and lower it, or I can lower it even on the tree. I'm probably going to try just lowering it here first and then see what it looks like from there. Okay guys, let me show you what I'm talking about. I made some adjustments here. I'll step out here so you can see the contour. It's higher here and it drops as it comes to the head end here. So you can see that angle against my ridge line up here. So you can see there's a noticeable difference on this end than this end. And if you just look at it in proportion to the ground, it may look a little high, but when you put your weight on it and it stretches out a little bit, it usually ends up being pretty much about where it should be. And then of course, I'll put my ground tarp under here, and then get all my other stuff out, my chair, my table, all the other things that I'm going to be using for camp here. This is the Warbonnet XLC, and this also has these pull-outs here, as you can see, which pulls the mesh back off of your face. It also helps to keep the hammock from swinging a whole lot, and makes it a bit more comfortable in terms of shoulder space, that sort of thing, in terms of pulling it out away from your shoulders so you don't feel as cramped. And then let me turn this around and I'll show you on. If you come around to this side, you will see essentially, let me zoom back just a little bit. You'll see here is the same thing. The difference with this one is, as you can see right here, this whole piece right here becomes a pocket. And so when you're in your hammock, you've got room to, sometimes I'll throw a jacket in here if I think it's going to get chilly at night and I may need an extra layer. I'll use that. Sometimes I may keep a bottle of water, a headlamp, different things in here. Usually I keep my headlamp or hanging on the ridge line or up here, but you get the point. You can put odd and end things in here, things you want handy, easily accessible. Sometimes if I get hot and take socks off at night or something like that, I'll just stuff those in here. If I get hot in the middle of the night, I'll take like my shirt or whatever off, I'll just stuff it in here. That way I don't lose it. I know where it's at, and I keep up with it. Also, one of the other things that I like to do here is with these right here, I'll roll these up and tuck them under their self right here. Okay guys, just real quickly, I'm just going to bring you back and show you what I do with my hammock straps, just to keep them up off the ground, keep them nice and neat so that they don't get tangled up and you get tripped up in them. I just roll them up. You can see here, just as you would with any type of ratchet strap or whatever on a vehicle. You just take that loose tail, roll it up nice and neat, and just make a loop and roll it back under itself and twist it tight. It also helps keep these from slipping any. Not that they do, these don't slip at all, and I'm a pretty big fella and these hold me. But I do the same thing on both ends. I do the same down here. Same thing, as you can see, just roll it up nice and neat, tuck it under itself, and let it be up out of the way. And again, that can act as a drip line if it gets to here. If not, you do have this, which can also act as a drip line. And again, I do have a couple of ridge bags. I've got one here. This one has some pockets in it on the other side. And then this one is just like an open-ended stuff sack. I put this one on there myself. I like to put my battery pack for my phone and my cords in here. And usually I'll cinch up one end and halfway cinch the other. I modified it myself. I put a buckle or a snap on there on each end, so that I can snap it if it's too much stuff to cinch it really. And that just holds everything in there, especially my charger, so it doesn't slide out. Okay guys, what I got here, this is just a dry sack that the under quilt and top quilt came in. As you can see, this is Outdoor Vitals. Couldn't think of the name of it. This is Outdoor Vitals. This is the Storm Loft 15 degrees. And this, what I have in here, I don't have the top quilt. What I did bring, since it's going to be so warm tonight, what I did bring is the Swagman roll for just a top cover. I'm going to toss that in here. And then the other in here is, of course, the actual under quilt. And yes, it is hot out here and pretty humid. But I will put this on there. There's a couple of reasons. Some folks like some type of sleeping pad or something, because this is a double layered hammock. But I don't care for the pad. I prefer the under quilt. And it serves as two purposes, because even in the summertime, without an under quilt underneath you, it does get chilly. Especially in early morning of the hours sometimes. The other thing is even though that's a double layer hammock, sometimes you can still get bit by mosquitoes on your back laying in it. So the under quilt also helps prevent that. One of the other things that I do with this sack here, I can hang this on my ridge line inside my hammock. And what I do at night is I generally dust my shoes off real good, drop them down in this, snap this over the ridge line, and slide it down toward my feet out of the way, and that way my shoes are right there. If I have to get up in the middle of the night and I need them, I can just reach down there, slide the bag down, and pull it off the ridge line, open it up, get them out, put them on, that sort of thing.
Real feel.
Okay guys, got the under quilt on here, as you can see. If you've never used an under quilt, they're pretty simple. You can see the bungee straps here comes up and just attaches with a small little dual clip carabiner here. On this one is what that come with. I've not changed it. What I have done, and this is something that I will show you on this one. One of the things that I did do to this, of course, this is the war bonnet. This piece here goes out to a bungee that sort of holds it out. But one of the issues that I've had with this war bonnet, I like it, but you can see right here, I've added a snap here and a snap here. And then what I did on the hammock itself is right in the thick part where the zipper goes, I've added a snap button. I put two in here, and what I do with this, and I don't know if I may have this backwards. I'll have to look and see where my actual other side is. But what I do with this is just snap it in place here, and then snap it in place here. And what that does is that keeps that up here where my shoulder area is, so that it doesn't drop below my shoulder, because I've had that happen before. And then what I did on the foot end over here is I essentially did the exact same thing. You can see right here, the snap, and you can see right here the matching snap. Same up here, same thing. I've got a snap there, and then I've got a snap there. and I just snap that in place. That keeps it up into the foot box area, because this is a diagonal lay hammock. So my feet are over here, head is at the other side over there where those snaps are. And again, you can see that head end is lower than the foot end, and I may have to make some adjustments on this under quilt just a little bit, because you can move it back and forth this way as well. And then that's the War Bonnet hammock, and that is the Outdoor Vitals under quilt, 15 degrees, storm loft, I think they call it. And then inside the hammock, I've got a swagman roll, and then of course, I've got my ground sheet and just some odd and end stuff laying on the ground here. I've got to clean up and tidy up this area. Okay, guys, just gonna bring you back and show you got camp is pretty much set up. The only thing I don't have set up at the moment is my table, and I'm going to do that and sort of show that to you. That's my own invention. Got my ground sheet down, got my chair, my Helinox chair 0, which is costs way more than they should. But like a nut, I paid it. That's a luxury item that I want. And then, of course, I've got my coffee, cook kit, water, some food there, my electronics bag in that red bag, some gloves, that sort of thing. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you this table that I invented, and what this thing consists of. This is just one of those cutting boards. You can see it's flexible to a degree. It's one of the thin ones. I guess that is some type of polyethylene. I don't know if it's so far I've not been able to like melt it or anything with boiling water, that sort of stuff. I use it that way. You can see there, I guess you can see on the camera, there's some holes here that I have drilled in it, some smaller ones. I do have a bigger one here, a bigger one here, a bigger one here. That was part of the original design. I did have it on a single stem that sat like this, but it was too flimsy. So what I come up with is, I was in Walmart one day and was in the hardware section, and happened to see these things right here, which are what you would stick in the ground and put a slide a yard sign on. And so I grabbed a couple of them and thought, wonder if I could use those. And I played around with it, worked with it, and actually got it to work. So what I did is I bent the top of these. I don't know if you can see that, but those are bent at an angle just a little bit. I guess you can see those, I don't know. And then I would connect those through these holes on the end. There's one on each side like so. Stick it in the ground, do the other side the same way. The problem with that, going that way, is it was flimsy this way, it would bow. So what I did is I went back and drilled the holes on the sides over here and then set it this way. And so what I do is I put these in the side holes right here, like so. If I can get it in there, and stick that in the ground, do the other side the same way. What I do is spread those out a little bit with some tension on them and just work them into the ground. You can push them as far as you need to or whatever. And the good thing about this is you can kind of level that up as need be. If it's too far one way or the other, you just push one side or one end a little further in the ground, and you can see, I mean, there is some movement to it, but it is sturdy enough that, for example, I can set my stove on there, my cook kit, my cup, and then I've got my coffee and some food here, and my utensils and that sort of thing. I think it was 17 ounces is what this actually weighs. And typically what I do is this cutting board piece will fit right down in the hydration sleeve in the back of that pack. And then what I do with these is I just strap these on the outside. These black pieces will not fall off because the end is bent. They'll stay on there. I just strap them on the outside. When I get here and get ready, I just set it up as I just did. And again, you can cook on it, set your drinks on it, whatever you want to do, use it for. Walked up here to where the fire pit is. where we normally, if we build a fire when we're out here at this particular spot, we normally will come up here, and you can see here the fire pit, which looks to be about the way it normally is. But here's the strange thing that I found as we walked up here. Daniel, I think, had found this earlier, but just to show you something strange, I guess you can see these right here. Very strange, okay? There is a piece of paracord that is attached right here to the tree, as you can see. And then what you have is a piece of fishing line that is probably difficult for you to see. I guess you can see that over my hand there. And then there are these pine cones that are hung on it, going over to this little tree. And somebody, as you can see right here, has taken a tab off the top of a can and tied the string to it and put it over this little dead snag, and then has these pine cones strung up for whatever reason. Also, something else interesting that I see here is these mushrooms. I'm not much of an herbalist, so I'm not sure. I don't think those are eatable that I know of. I know there are some chanterelles, I think they call them, that are eatable, but I don't think that these are eatable as far as I can tell. I don't think those are chanterelles either. There's a lot of them. You can see even around on that side of the tree, quite a few of them. Gonna give you guys a look at the camp from the back side, from up here at the fire pit. If you look down that way, you can see this is the back side of my tarp and my setup where my hammock is, and then Daniel's tent on down there. Of course, that's Daniel sitting right there by the tree. But this is, looking at it from the back side, this has become my go-to spot right here. I like it really well. So we're going to take a walk down to the lake and look around. And then I'm going to eat something. I'm hungry. Well, more so, I want a coffee than I am hungry. Okay, guys, we are going to walk down here at the lake, but I did want to show you something before we walk out here to the lake. Let me flip the camera around, show you some bear scat. Actually looks fairly fresh. Not sure how long it's been there, but anyway, that's fresh. Let's take a look at the lake. That's a bit of a gnarly looking tree laying there in the water. Kind of neat looking. Again, as I said before, this is a relatively small lake. There's a couple, if you zoom in right over here, you will see the dock right there. And then you will see off to the right of that, there's a little cove that goes back in there. It's kind of hard to see from here, but there is a trail right, let me get in the shot. Let's see, right there on that little knoll is a trail, and it goes over and comes back around this shoreline right here. for quite a ways around through there, and then cuts back into one of them little coves over there and cuts off a portion of this land you can see straight in front of me there. It's really hard to see for the trees right here. There is a cove straight through there. Maybe zoom in a little and see if you can tell. But right there, that cuts back in there to the left. And there is another one down there. This is a fun little place to come to, a fun little place to come camp, hang out. It's easily accessible. It is fairly quiet most of the time. We have been up here on the weekend when back out over here at the dock area where it's easily accessible from the parking area. You can just walk right over to the dock. We have had some folks before over there who were just partying and going on and kind of loud up until maybe about 10 o'clock at night or so. And then they would quieten down, but that's generally about all the issues we've really had up here. We have seen some bears from time to time, nothing major, a couple of deer a time or two, but other than that, it's pretty quiet up here. It's a pretty nice place to just come and hang out. I'll show you. I'm standing, as you can see right here, I'm standing right at the edge of the water right here. I'll show you how close we are to the campsite. Let me flip the camera around and you can see right there is the campsite. Daniel is sitting just in behind his tent there. You can see the hammock, a few things there, and then the trail is literally right here on the shore, right here at the bank. You can see it right here is the trail, and it will take off out that way. And this is where we are camped, and to my right here, this is the trail we came in on out that way. We have kayaked on this lake and came up few times and took the kayak out on it and just tried to fish. The fishing isn't really all that good. Several people fish on it, but we've not had a whole lot of luck. But it is a pretty place, peaceful, nice little lake. Time to eat. I'm gonna break out a Mountain House. That's what I brought today. I'm a big ramen guy on trail most of the time. I do have some ramen in here. However, I have recently discovered through Daniel, Mountain House has a chicken teriyaki that I have not eaten. Daniel has eaten it a couple times. I did try a bite of his last time we were out here, but this is chicken teriyaki. It's not necessarily a big meal. It's got 460 calories to it. You know, a lot of your meals, your backpacking meals, have 600-800 calories, some of them, but so this isn't the biggest, but it is pretty tasty based on what I tried at Daniel's. So this will be the first one I've ate by myself. So I'm going to get some water together here and boil up some water and get it ready to go and see what it tastes like. Okay guys, give you a look at this mountain house. I can get it open without wearing it. You can see there, I guess you can see that, maybe, I don't know. Looks really good just by stirring it and tasting what was on the spoon from stirring it. It tastes really well. Daniel has already destroyed his, so I'm about to do the same. If you can see that, but that looks pretty good. Tastes pretty good. Still very hot though. That's the best mountain house I've eaten. So if you like mountain house and you want to try one, get the chicken teriyaki. That one's pretty good. Well guys, as you can see, the mountain house is gone. Very good meal, very good mountain house. I think I did discover something. The calories being 460, we were talking, and I think what has happened is what seems to happen with other stuff. You're paying, well, not even really the same price. You're paying more. They've gone up, but you're getting less in the package. Looks to be smaller than what they have been. I don't know for sure, but it does look that way. So nonetheless, that's a good mountain house. If you're interested in those, pick one up. They're really good. All right, it is coffee time. What I've been waiting on. Come on, baby. Need some water. Make some coffee. Guys, what I got here to make coffee in is just the, this is the GSI, I think. It's just the pour over. It's like a silicone, just to pour over. I bring a filter, and I've got this little GSI cup. It's got the sleeve, pops out of it, and that's multi-purpose. That gives you a measuring cup. It's got the measurements on it, so that works out really well. It's got the insulated cover over it, which gives you something to hold on to when the coffee is hot, so that works out really well. It's a little hard to pour with this as far as accurate, but it does the job. It does have a spout, but it's not the most accurate, but it does get the job done. Smells really good. Brewing up pretty good. Usually has a pretty good taste. It's almost full. And really what I've been waiting on is a good cup of coffee on trail. There's the finished product, a good old cup of black coffee. And it does taste as good as it looks. Peaceful up here, ain't it?
Yeah.
No noise, you know, roads and cars and that sort of thing. Just quiet and peaceful. Be dark before long, won't it?
Yep.
Peaceful though. Can't beat it. Okay guys, just bring you back on here since it's nighttime. As you can see, as you can hear, the forest is alive. Should be a good night for sleeping, really. Temperature, I think, right now is about 68 still. I think it's supposed to get down to about 67. Right now, feels pretty good. It's not hot, it's not too muggy, not too bad. actually feels pretty good right now. We've just been sitting around talking mostly Bible, end times, eschatology, that sort of stuff. But it's a good, cool night. Should be a good night for sleeping. We've not yet got in for the night. Daniel's got to get up early in the morning. He has to get up about 9 and head out of here, so I'll probably get up at the same time, just pack up and go ahead and roll out of here and head back toward the house. But anyway, should be a good night for sleeping. I'll bring you back when I get in the hammock. Just wanted to jump back on here for a minute. Again, it's been a good night to be in the woods. It's been a good time to be out here. We've had some just some peaceful, relaxing time. Had some good conversation. We've spent quite a bit of time just discussing scripture, some end time stuff, some eschatology, which is a subject as far as scripture that we like to talk about. But it's been a good trip so far. Kind of a short one, just an overnighter. We didn't get out, I think, in the woods until, I don't think I got started till about 2 o'clock, heading out this way, and I was taking my time doing some filming, taking some pictures. Daniel even caught me. He wasn't even here when I pulled in, and he still wasn't here when I took off and got on trail, but he caught me before I even got out here to the campsite. I was taking pictures, doing some filming, some different things. But it was just good to be able to get away, get into the woods for a little while, and just spend some time in nature. It's been real quiet, real peaceful. There are some folks that I think, there's a cove over here behind where we're camped. There's some guys over there that are, I guess, probably doing some catfishing or something tonight. They've got it lit up back over there, and they're a little bit loud. I don't hear them much over the sound of the forest, the crickets, the frogs, that sort of stuff. They're pretty loud tonight. I guess you can hear those. You might even hear them in the background once in a while. You can hear a little bit, but it's been a good trip, a good time out here. Probably gonna get in the hammock here before too long. When I do, I'll bring you back. But anyway, it's been good to be out in the woods. Okay, guys, not sure how well you can see me in this lighting, but anyway, it's been a crazy night. Okay, it is like almost 2 o'clock. It's 1:48. We were about midnight almost, getting ready to lay down, and as you know, there was that group of guys over the hill behind us. Anyway, they started shooting. We didn't feel comfortable staying there. We were on the verge of packing up and leaving out anyway. Then we heard some people yelling like they were looking for somebody. We were able to yell back to them, communicate with them, and we learned that yes, they are looking for an adult male who has a 9-year-old child with him. They were supposed to have been out before dark. They didn't make it out, apparently. They're somewhere around the lake, we believe, lost. We don't know. There is some county personnel here who are checking into the issue to make sure that it is in fact legit. And then I think they're going to start looking to do some rescue here and maybe around the trail. At this point, I don't know what I'm doing. Me and Daniel's over there talking to them. May actually have to get on trail with them here and help them to see if we can find whoever. But anyway, when I get an update, I'll bring you back. Well, hey guys, just wanted to jump back on here and update you about the situation at the lake early this morning. Of course, as you can see, I am different location, different scenery. I'm not at the lake. I'm actually at my house out on the porch. But just wanted to give you an update on what was going on up there this morning. We come out of the woods probably somewhere around 1 o'clock. As I said already in the video, there were guys that were fishing. I'm not sure if they were catfishing, what they were doing, but obviously they were drinking.
very loud there right close to midnight. They started getting really loud. They started shooting. They shot roughly 7 times, I think. They were just right over the hill from us, probably less than 75 yards from us. And we just didn't feel comfortable staying there. We weren't sure what they would do, especially if they were drinking, that sort of thing, unpredictable. While at the same time this was happening, we realized there were some folks on the other side of the lake that were yelling like they were looking for someone. We were able to yell back across and communicate with them, and we learned that there was a father and about an 8 or 9 year old son with him that was unaccounted for. They went into the lake at daylight. The original understanding was they were supposed to come out before it got dark. Once we packed up and got out from the campsite, got back to the parking area where I made the last scene in this video in the vehicle there, Daniel was talking to some officials there and the family, trying to figure out what was going on. What we eventually learned was they did go into the woods with the intention of camping, but what we found out that actually had happened was that they had, the mother, the wife, had found a bag at the house as she was leaving that evening. That was a backpack that was supposed to have went with them, that actually had all of their lighting in it, their headlamps and that sort of thing. So they were actually up there without any lighting. And so what happened was Daniel, who was with me, took off and went around through there, and he actually found where they were. And by that time, one of the county deputies was there, who took off walking around the trail that way. They went around there, and just after a short while, they came out. They had the father and the son with them. They were actually in a tent asleep. He was able to build a fire, that sort of thing. They just did not have any flashlights, headlamps, anything like that. They did walk them out. They had plenty of lighting with them, the officer and Daniel did. So they walked them out, got them out to the parking area. Everyone was safe. Everyone was okay. We were all tired. We were all wore out. I didn't really film any of that because just out of respect for the family, not sure what was going on, that sort of thing. So I didn't film any of that. And once they were out there, found out they were safe, I basically just got in the car, left, came on home, and didn't even unload my stuff. I just came in, showered, hit the bed this morning, and got up and just wanted to get on here and give you an update on that and let you know what was going on. Everyone was safe. Everyone was fine, just tired, wore out. So I didn't film any of that. I just came on home. But I did want to update you and didn't want to end the video without letting you know what was going on, what was happening. But anyway, that's the story. That's what ended up happening. And anyway, we're glad you joined us on this crazy adventure. It didn't quite end the way we thought it would. Didn't quite go the way we thought it would. But nonetheless, we did have a good time overall, and we're glad you joined us, and hope to see you on the next one.